All right, let's zoom into this now with political analyst Sandile Swana. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Your thoughts on the new Executive Council?
Well, thank you, Bongo, and to your viewers. Very quickly, I think Panyaza Lesufi did an excellent job in packaging his offering in terms of his intentions and his emphasis on the townships and so on, and the informal settlements and the hostels, and focusing on the Black community. I think that was an excellent job. What then becomes highly debatable is him then saying, look, he has retained 7 of the old MECs, in essence brought in 2 new faces, because then the health one was vacant because of him anyway. So in essence, there's more of, if you like, probably more than 70% continuity rather than change. Then you ask all these bright ideas that he has been having this team, he's been part of this team. What happened? Why didn't they do this all along?
And, you know, you talk about that. One of the things that really jumped at me was the big plans around hostels. This is not new. I mean, we've been talking about hostels in Gauteng for quite some time now. They've been dilapidated. At the same time, you had those white elephant structures where some of the residents ended up moving in themselves without being allocated. So how different is it going to be now, do you think? Especially even with the informal settlements as well, saying that they don't want any more. There's now an anti-land invasion unit. I'm not sure. How much do you think is going to happen in this regard?
I think that if I were to be direct about this, if you took what Panyaza Lesufi was saying and you gave that job to Bongani Baloyi, probably would have something to say. The problem we have is that for the past almost 30 years, and Panyaza Lesufi, I'm so happy that he's a native, an absolute native of Gauteng. He knows the issues as a little boy. He knows the issues thoroughly. But him and his team have been totally and absolutely unable to do nothing about these things over time.
And we also look at the people-centered approach that you also spoke about a little earlier on. Interesting, changing health to health and wellness. Also focusing on the needs of the people, talking about ending long queues, at hospitals, saying that they want to improve the experience of, the people when they go to some of the hospitals there. The attitude of staff towards some of the patients is something that is going to be taken very seriously. How critical is this portfolio going to be, looking at what we've seen there? And also Charlotte Maxege is still not fully operational in some of the areas, and Tembisa Hospital.
This is absolutely crucial. And I'll explain something to you. I was born in Baragwanath Hospital. I was hospitalized as a youngster in the 70s when I broke my arm. I slept in Umtata General Hospital. I spent some time in Umtata TB Hospital, in the public hospitals, and I was judged in 18 Oak Street of TB, Johannesburg Health Department. So there was a time, not so long ago, when these hospitals, even the ones in black areas, you'd go there with no worry. But these days, under the ANC government, these same hospitals that we trusted these hospitals, and we've been there, some of us physically. But it's so crucial that they are restored to their former glory and beyond. It has been done before, and done by the wrong people, by the way, the apartheid government. And the democratic government had no time whatsoever for black people.
Now, when we stay with, with the townships, there was also that big talk of the township economy and government, of course, now in Gauteng forcing itself to buy local. And they say that they are going to put quite a big focus on growing the township economy here, unlocking its potential. Can it finally happen? Because it's also another, talking point that we've seen happen over time now.
Yes, it can happen under the right leadership. Now, whether Panyaza is the right leader is an open question. I will not answer that. but it can happen under the right leadership. Now, let me tell you this. Since 1994 until today, the businesses in the townships, as to what type of business is located where, for instance, in Msimango Street, Rockville, which business will you find there? And which one will you find at number 1 in White City, Jabava, and so on. There is no map in the offices of the Gauteng government of the businesses in Soweto, Tembisa, Vosloorus, or any other township. They don't know what is there, what type of businesses which are successful in what. They don't have the data to put into the economic models of Gauteng altogether, the third of the data. So the models are not working. The township businesses, the shops, they talk about taking the shops back from the Muslims, the Ethiopians, and what have you, and what have you. The first mistake was to stop Mr. Mbele from owning his shop and opening a Pick and Pay in Soweto and all these malls, rather than relying on the local entrepreneurs to run their businesses properly and funding them. Now they are finding all kinds of scapegoats. There is no credible evidence-based plan that this government has had under Makura, under Toko's Fala, under anybody. It does not exist anywhere right now.
I'm keen to hear your thoughts on this one, because we also saw another focus on the coalition, governments and how unstable things have been there. He says that, he's created a department that is going to look at managing the coalitions in Gauteng, saying that some of the issues need conflict resolution and not simply a vote of no confidence. Can this work to improve these unstable coalition arrangements?
It can work. Bear in mind that if you and I were to be totally sincere, in Gauteng here, there is probably no coalition that has failed without the hand of the ANC. Whether that hand was under the table or above the table, they had a hand in collapsing the ANC. They had a hand in putting not only the motions of no confidence, putting municipalities unnecessarily under administration, those that are under the coalition, while failing their own failing municipalities like Mfuleni, where the sewage is running all over the show. They could not do anything in 30 years without sewage. So they have had a hand. So if they've had a change of heart to say, guys, let's give people who form the coalition and the majority government, let's rather assist them rather than bringing in spurious votes of no confidence and bring about unnecessary administration. That would be a great step forward indeed.
And, as we wrap up our conversation, this is not the only shake-up that we saw. We saw one in Limpopo and Mpumalanga as well. Why do you think we're seeing them now?
Now that I have had a closer look at this one in Gauteng, obviously, people like Lebohang Maile were competing with, what's his name, Panyaza, have been, in a way, sidelined and will be deployed somewhere else and things like that. So, one, from an internal ANC perspective, perhaps it was an alignment of interests inside the ANC, it's factionalism. Two, is to give you and I some false hope and prepare us and make our hearts ready to vote for the ANC in 2024.
An interesting point to end on there. Let's see what happens then, because, of course, I think everyone is now, when you think of political parties, they're talking about Agenda 2024. So let's see what happens, and we'll talk about coalitions as well throughout the course of the show. We have Bongani Baloyi and also Helen Zeller, who are going to be talking to us about this. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. That was political analyst Sandile Swana.